Before we start this day, we gotta have some lunch.
Let's go.
Today we are riding the beautiful State Route 127. We are starting from the southern end in Dechard, Tennessee. I think it's Dechard. I don't know. I look at it and I think Dechard, but maybe I'm a little too French, even though I'm not French at all, right? Anyways, Dechard, I think, is how it's actually pronounced. But that's where I am starting my trip today on Tennessee State Route 127. State Route 127 is kind of a shorter route. It begins here in Dechard, which is just outside of Winchester, which is way easier to pronounce, and goes to McMinnville, Tennessee. It ends right outside of McMinnville, Tennessee. So that is where I'm starting. I am not going to finish it in one day, though, because on this same day, I actually finished another state route, which if you want to, you can go back and watch that. That was the south end of State Route 56. But on my way out of Dechard, I seen a place that I just had to stop. So I had to go waste some time here. Well, I didn't stay there long, but I stayed there long enough to just kind of look at some of the newer bikes, especially that 2025 Africa Twin, right? The 2025 Africa Twin. It's a beautiful bike, and one day maybe it'll be mine, or maybe not that one exactly, but one day I will have an Africa Twin. Daggone it. Meanwhile, let's keep going up State Route 127, or State Highway, however you want to say it. State Route, State Highway. Anyway, I'm in Tennessee on 127. I am heading northbound. As with most highways in Tennessee, it is just a beautiful ride. Of course, there are some things to stop and see along the way, and maybe not right on that state route, but on this specific state route, 127, as I was heading north, if I could have traveled west off of this road, specifically through this lake that I'm going to be crossing here momentarily, I would come to the University of Tennessee Space Institute. A little bit further up the road, directly to my west, just before I get to I-24, is the Arnold Air Force Base. Arnold Air Force Base. So those are 2 points of interest. Just off of State Route 127 here in Tennessee. So, but it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful ride. Pretty much anywhere you ride in Tennessee, you're going to see some beautiful roads, and State Route 127 was no exception, and I really, really enjoyed it. As I alluded to earlier, this is not, I'm not going to finish 127 in one day, even though it's so short. It really is a shorter route, but because I did this on a 3-day trip, wherein the first day I did Tennessee State Route 56, and you can go watch that video. I believe I dropped it like 2 or 3 weeks before this one, or 2 weeks, I don't know, but anyways, it's in 2 parts actually, the north part and then the south part. This was done right after the south part, on my way back to camp for the night. So what you're seeing here is going up 127 up to US Highway 41, where I then cut off, dropped all the way down to Pelham, and went up to my campsite. And then the next morning I came back over to the point where I cut off, which is in Hillsboro, Tennessee, and picked up 127 again to continue my journey north. And then when I finished 127, I actually did another state route. It is not going to be in this video. It is going to be a separate state route video. This video will have everything from the beginning of 127 through packing up camp the next morning and then finishing out 127. So this here, Highway 41, which goes to Manchester, and Mount Eagle or Chattanooga, as you can see there. This is where I cut off to go ahead and head back to camp, which the campground itself was a pretty nice little place. I enjoyed my time there, my 2 nights there. It was a good time. I was, however, right next to a campsite with a couple little kids, and so it was very difficult getting any footage in there where you didn't hear those 2 little kids constantly or see them. So I had to get rid of a lot of video, because last thing that I would want is for someone to record my little ones and put them out there on the internet. So I try to do the same with others as I would have them do unto me, right? So anyways, this is the end of 27 for this day here. And like I said, now I will take 41 down to 50 and back to my campsite. So let's go. Highway 50 going back to camp was really a fun road. I really enjoyed it. As you can see, it's a beautiful, beautiful route. So, of course, I wasn't very happy when I was going down the road, and what did I see right in front of me but a flatbed big truck heading up this mountain right in front of me. But he actually did a very good job. You know, he kept it between 45 and 50, and that's a respectable speed. So I stayed back and still had a great time. So as I said earlier, my campground, or my camping spot and the campground that I was at, I had little kids next to me, so I didn't get any footage that evening. This is actually the following morning as I'm packing up camp. And it was early enough that I didn't want to disturb any of the other campers, so I didn't really do much in the way of talking while I started packing up camp. But I am going to be showing you all a few things here as far as some of the gear that I had with me. This hammock setup that I am tearing down right here is my Eno setup. It is an Eno double nest along with the Rainfly. Now this is not what I used to sleep in. The overnight temperatures were down in the 30s both nights. The first night got right around freezing, right around 32 degrees. The second night I think only dropped down to about 39. But both nights were pretty chilly, and I could stay in the Eno, but really I just like to have the Eno handy so that I can put it close to the fire and just use it as a place to sit and relax there around camp. And then my other hammock is off to the side. This is a small chair, small stool that I have that I keep right there. I kind of use it as a little table off to the side there, but it is a footstool. It's a flat pack, or mostly a flat pack. It packs pretty flat, but it does a good job, especially as a table for when I'm sitting in that hammock. And there's some more information on it. 250 pounds, so it holds me easily. And for being so small, it's pretty good, right? I mean, 250 pounds for that little fold-up stool, I think is pretty stinking good, man. But it does a really good job, both as a table and as a stool. So there's that. I do want to say this video is not sponsored at all, but what I am showing you here is just some of the gear that I take, some of my favorite gear to have when I go moto camping. Now, you will notice that I have a lot of stuff with me, and that's just my preference on a big bike going to a campground. Obviously, if I was on a dual sport or a dirt bike and I was off in the woods somewhere, obviously I'm not going to carry all of this stuff. Yeah, I guess I was trying to show you guys here how big that was. Okay, this here, these green elephant poles, I have 4 of them, and I really like them. They're really great poles. This is green elephant. This tells you how to twist it and then be able to move it and then turn it the other way to lock it. I think everybody knows how stuff like that works, right? With the twist lock. So these green elephant poles with the twist lock I really like, and they're really tall. And so yeah, I mean, pretty much any kind of structure that you would want to set up or anything, these are tall enough to do it. I can't reach the top. That's pretty tall. That's tall enough. I mean, it's not like I'm really tall or anything. I'm 5'10", right? So yeah, but still, I can't reach that. So yeah, I think it's just over 9 feet. I think 12 feet. I don't know. They're tall. They're long, and they are super handy dandy. Now, I want to show you here on the ends, on the tops. It's got the rubber ball here, so you can put it up under a tarp, and you're not going to hurt it. Or you can put it through a grommet. You know, so you've got choices there. Don't stab people. Don't stab people. But you put your tarp on there, and then you put that on, and it locks it in place, and then you raise it. Simple, right? Yeah, great piece of equipment. Highly recommend the green elephant poles. But let's get some more camp tore down so we can get moving. And yes, I did speed this up. I am not really going that fast. I haven't had that much coffee. But that is the Eno double nest hammock. I really enjoy it. Here I'm showing you how I do my straps and how I am able to put those straps inside the little bag that holds the Eno right there in top, just like that. And of course the Eno bag is a pocket on the side of the Eno hammock, just like with many hammocks of that style. But yes, I am able to roll up the straps and put them directly in top there. It holds 200 pounds per strap. So again, you know, I'm plenty within weight limit, and they do a great job. These are the Atlas straps, came with the Eno. So, and here's the second strap going in on top of the first strap. And I just prop my leg up here and set it on my leg here to help me out. And I get it all in there, and voila! Just like that, I have everything that I need in one package. I've got the hammock with the straps. Now, that does not include the rainfly. The rainfly is in a separate stuff bag, but as far as the actual hammock with straps, I have it in there. I can just take that with me wherever I want to go, throw it up real fast, and have a place to rest, relax, lay down, whatever. So then of course it's got these little clips around here. If I didn't have the straps in here, I could really cinch this down and make the hammock itself really small, but because I choose to put the straps in the bag with the hammock, it really doesn't cinch down that much, but it's still pretty compact. Well, you can see here it's about this big, and it's about this big, and it fits in one hand, and it has you can carry it from the side. And yeah, you know, doing these voiceovers, looking back at this stuff, let's just get rid of it. Okay, so let's talk about what I like and what I don't like about it. This is a Nightcat 3-in-1 hammock system. All in all, it's a pretty decent setup for its price range. I think I paid just under $100 for it, and it does a really good job. Now, that's just this part. I also have an underquilt on here, the Nightcat underquilt. I don't remember how much it costs. I'll look that up and I'll put it somewhere here on the screen for you, as well as the price for this that it's at now. I don't, like I said, I paid just under $100 for it, I think, when I bought it. It's been a while, so I don't know what it is now, but I will put that here on the screen somewhere for you. This has done a pretty good job. The first one that I got from Nightcat, the first time I got in it, the backside ripped out and dropped me on the ground. When I did that, when that happened, I had it higher than I should have had it, and so I had a pretty good fall. And I made a huge no-no mistake that you should never make as a hammock camper. A, don't take a hammock out for the first time when you're hours away from home, and that's what you have to sleep in. Now, I did have a small tent that I was able to sleep in that night, and they did replace a Nightcat for me. They did not replace the underquilt, which also got broken in that fall. But I'm still able to use it, just not the way it should be. But, okay, so first thing I dislike, this huge Nightcat logo there. I get it, it's Nightcat, but they could have done something smaller up here on this corner, or a smaller logo even here on the door. Something, but that's pretty big. I think the older ones actually had a bigger one. I think they did scale this down. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think they did have a bigger one at one point in time. But still, it's just kind of Boom, nightcap. Which I guess is cool, you know. They want the, you know, they want people to know who they are. They want people to see their logo and say, hey, that's nightcap, right? I get that. It just has a cat in front of a mountain, kind of a mountain range here. So the cat, nightcap. Anyway, second thing that I really don't like about this, and I know many others have said the same thing, and that is when you roll up this door, show you on one end here, but where this toggle is, it's supposed to hold it in place. It's right over top of that rain flap that goes over the zipper, so it's kind of difficult. Now that is a toggle system, which most cheaper tents use, right? And so it's good for what it is. But here's the problem. You're only getting about this much, right? About that much of the flap inside that. And then you come down to this end. And it's even tighter. But it does the job. Let's come over here and get a closer look at things. Again, here's the toggle system. Right, hold that open. Oh, and works great for hanging your socks to dry. Right? Anyways, it does have a screen that zips all the way around here. And when you unzip it, you can toss it back over itself like so, and it will stay up out of your way. This is something that I put in, just a small netting, but you can see up here in the corners, or on the ends rather, both ends, it has this hook right here. Okay, and that's at both ends. And so I purchased this netting separately. It's like the netting that you would put up in your kids' room to hang stuffed animals or whatever. But I purchased that because I thought it would work very well in here, and it has worked for me. It does kind of limit you on space, but it does do the job. And then you've got a pocket there, and then you've got another pocket right here. So they are at opposite corners, and then it is fully enclosed with the bug netting. Okay, the top part up here, okay, it has some velcros underneath that velcro it to the system and actually helps keep it pulled apart, because these loops right here on both sides, this is where I have my socks on the other side, right here on this strap, just sitting there. But yeah, by putting the velcro, or no, it's not velcro, that's right, it's a tie on there, tie on there, tie on the other side, over through there. So let's get that off. Over here on the ends, there's actually snaps. So you can tighten that up, keep wind out. And then of course it also ties off here. And then right here you've got this, which is an elastic strap with a regular, what is that, 1-inch webbing with a plastic buckle here. So that gives you some flexibility as the wind blows. As you move the hammock up and down, that'll stretch for you. Okay, there's that. I'll pull this back like so. A buckle piece that this goes into over here on this side, but it broke. This buckle piece here is no longer there, just this buckle piece here. So I just pull it through there and basically make it into a toggle, right? Yeah. And this here, which was on there and I took it off, but you can bring it up here, bring it up to here, tighten it down to kind of give you some added security, so it's not just hanging on that there, right? So that's that. So let's go ahead and get this top off of here. Under here there are toggles for the underquilt, where it clips on here. Let me bring you up closer. You can see it better here. Okay, so here's the underquilt, and this is a toggle. Right, toggles on there. I just push that back through there to release that toggle and drop the underquilt. Now I also used a kubi under here to add to my warmth, because it did get down into the 30s, and this one alone will not do the 30s. Now I also have an underquilt cover that is not from Nightcat, neither is that kubi, but I have a an underquilt cover that protects from rain, things like that splashing up onto your underquilt, and it does help in windy conditions. I didn't need to use it because it hasn't been windy enough to worry about it. And those two together kept me plenty warm, even at, like, I think it got down to 34, 35 degrees. So this here is a guy line, which shot cord, which keeps the system from rocking back and forth and from flipping upside down. Okay, so there's that. Otherwise, because of these poles, it's top heavy and it will roll over until you actually have stuff in it. Once you have stuff in it, like my blankets are in it right now, so it's not going to roll. But that's what that is. And I've got it on 3 corners. The first one that I got only came with 2 shot cords, and it worked just fine with
2 shot cords to keep it from rolling over. Did one on this corner and then one on the corner at the opposite end, and they did fine. This time when they sent the new one after the old one ripped out, it came with 4 of them, and I've actually taken to putting them on 3 corners, and that has worked out pretty nicely for me. So, but that's what I do. You can do what you want to do, right? Yeah, so that's that. Let's get back to that top. So I've decided I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to try to put all of my bedroll, nightcat, underquilt, kubi, sleeping bags, everything. I'm going to try and wrap it all up in that ground tarp right there. I'm going to drop it on there and then see if I can't get it all tight enough to go in one bag nice and neatly tight down at the bottom. So let's do that. What I do with these is I use the tensioners that are already on the shot cords, and I just put them through here basically and use them as a toggle system. And now comes the test. Can I get it all together? Let's see how this works. Okay, so after a bit more consideration, what I've decided is I'm going to try to do this. Okay, right there, you see, I'm going to try and roll it up again. And these are the straps, the tree straps to hang, that the hammock hangs on, right? So once I'm going to try to roll it tighter, and then I'm going to use those as cinch straps, right? And try to get it even tighter. So let's go. So I've got a couple funny stories for you while I'm folding this up. First of all, this is the Free Soldier tarp, which, just like the Nightcat, has a huge logo on it. Actually, it's got 2 logos on it, I think, on opposing corners. But I got it out. I was going to use it. I was going to put it over the picnic table, actually, so that the stuff that I left out on the picnic table didn't get dew on it, or, well, as happened Monday night, everything got frost on it, right? So that's why I got it out, to hang it. But because it's so big, I think it's 10 by 10. Because it's so big, I could not really put it anywhere that would work. So I ended up just covering the picnic table with all of its contents with it, which did the job, I guess. But what am I doing? I don't want to stuff this. I want to roll this. Anyways, it did the job, but not the way I wanted it to do the job, right? I didn't have the cool looking setup that I wanted. Anyways, so that's one funny thing. But the funnier thing is, so that bedroll that I made, did none of you guys see what I was missing? You didn't holler at me through the screen? You know, go back in time and holler at me, Alan, you're forgetting something. Yeah. So I made that bedroll, and you know, I had to take the two things out, right? Well, I had forgot the top cover for it. Yeah, I totally forgot to put it on the bedroll, in the bedroll. So anyways, and I'll show you after a while what I ended up doing. It's not what I want to do, but it's what's going to work this time around. I need to learn to start packing lighter on these things, right? But just like my creature comforts, you know? Just like them. Like, I might need this, I might need that, I might need to check my brain sometime, right? Might need to do that. But anyways, so it ended up going into the roll top dry bag that I was trying to put the whole system into. Put it in that with the extra blankets that wouldn't fit in the bedroll properly. And then I'm just going to put the bedroll in my back seat underneath that roll top bag with other stuff in it, because when I left home Monday morning, it was in the 30s, right? It was very cold. So I had on a lot of gear that I'm not going to have on when I leave here today, which means I'm going to need all the extra space that I can get. And so by having that bedroll, a little bit of bedroll separate, it's going to give me more room in the dry bag, more overall room to put all of my extra clothing that I wore down that I'm not going to be wearing back.
At this point, I lost a bunch of footage, due to user error probably, but nonetheless, that footage is lost. So here we are back out on the road, headed back over to Highway 127. Now we are back to Hillsboro, where I left off 127 the day before. And again, now State Route 127 in Tennessee is absolutely a beautiful road, as are almost all state routes in Tennessee. At least parts of them anyway, right? I mean, I guess that's just how it works. Some parts are beautiful, some parts aren't. This part of 127 is pretty flat, a lot of farmland, and it's just a nice route. It's great road, great riding, and the scenery is what you would expect from backroads Tennessee. You know, just beautiful farmland, some rolling hills, some nice small curves, and just a great time all the way around. I'm rapidly coming up to the end of State Route 127 here, right on the southeast side of McMinnville. And I just want to thank you for those of you who stuck around this long. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have enjoyed it, please like, subscribe if you haven't, and drop me a message down in the comments. It's all appreciated. Thank you. Well, folks, this stop sign coming up here is the official end of State Route 127. It is in total 43.52 miles long from Dishard or Deshard, Tennessee to McMinnville. But anyways, so I am off onto the next state route. We'll see you guys next time.